Hello VC, Midge here, a guy in a hat who likes to talk about records. And on today's video we're going to be talking about weather and particularly the summer. In the UK we've been lucky enough this year to have an extended run of really good weather. Since May really, it's been constant sunshine. And the last couple of days it's been absolutely
SCORCHIO
in the UK, and it's been going up to 30 degrees. It was 30 degrees yesterday, it's 30 degrees today, and you can't actually see it, but I'm actually sat on a Walls Viennetta. It's that hot to try and cool down. But I'm not complaining because I absolutely love the sunshine. As Roy Ayre says, everybody loves the sunshine. And I'm a long-term depression sufferer, so the sunshine is a big deal to me. I love the summer. It picks me up, it makes me feel so much better. And when you add music into that, it's just on another level. So if you pick the right music, it's just, it's like heaven, isn't it? It's heaven. So I love all this good weather. So today's video, I did think about doing a list of my favourite sunshine albums, but when I started compiling it, it just seemed to be a lot of albums that people regularly show on the VC, and I thought I'd try and do something a bit different on this one. So I'd like to do that at some point, but just for something a little bit different that you might not have seen before. I've got together 5 of my favourite, I'm going to call them soundscapes, but don't let that put you off. It's sort of, it's ambient music, so they're all based in ambient type music, but they're all soundscapes, like sound design, and it's all designed to make you feel like, well, to me, in my head, when I'm listening to these albums, I'm on a sun lounger, the sun's beating down, I've not got a care in the world, I'm just absolutely relaxed, chilled out, got my favourite drink, a rum and coke next to me, and you're just totally chilling out. So that's the idea behind these albums. These are all albums that are favourites of mine, that you can use. It's just to invoke that feeling of being, totally chilled out, burning hot summer day, and just reveling in it and just really enjoying it. But like I say, don't let the term soundscapes put you off. I think a lot of people associate it with sort of industrial type noise, which it can be, but all these albums sort of bring the sort of like a really chilled, relaxing, sunshiny vibe. So these are 5 of my favourites, although I've got plenty more, but these are the 5 I've picked out to show you today. So the first of the scorching ambient soundscape albums I'm going to show you is this one from 1999. This is Monolake, and it's called Gobi. As you can tell from the cover, it's meant to be an ambient soundscape that brings to mind the Gobi Desert in Eastern Asia. And it's on the Astral Industries label, as you can tell, because I've mentioned it before on my channel. They do great ambient albums from artists all around the world, and they have highly distinctive covers by the illustrator Theo Ellsworth, and this is no exception. Absolutely superb artwork by him. And as you can tell from the cover, it's meant to bring in mind the Gobi Desert, and the music sort of like it's no melody in it particularly. It is sound design and a soundscape. The guy behind this, Robert Hensk, is an ambient composer and an artist, and basically he's taken samples of nature and loops and things like that, and he's composed a soundscape that's meant to bear in mind this sort of environment. So you've got like sounds of crickets that endlessly repeat like you do in hot climates, and you have like sort of really gentle synth patterns and synth waves, and when you listen to it, it brings to mind the idea of the sun beating down on you, but in sound. And it is literally just 2 long ambient pieces. So it basically, you're listening to the environment. It's meant to provoke you to listen to and close your eyes and imagine that you're in this sort of environment. And it does it so well. It just draws you in, and it's very minimalistic. There's not a lot that happens. The changes in sound are really, really subtle. But it just brings to mind, close your eyes and you're just in a hot climate, and the sun beating down on you, relaxed, chilled, and it really is a superb piece of work. It really brings to mind that sort of environment, and it's a really chilled listen. Like I said, there's not a lot going on in it, but it just washes over you, and it sounds amazing. You can absolutely lose yourself in this album, and that's the idea of these albums. They are meant to be like to take you to somewhere, to take you to another place in your head, and it works for me every time. Just absolutely brilliant. So that's Monolake's Gobi from 1999, and I'll give you a little sample of it now. Next up on our shimmering, sunshiny soundscape journey, which isn't easy to say, is an album that was recorded around 86, 87. There's two albums here, but they've been put into one. And these soundscape albums by David Sylvian of Japan and Holger Zuke of Cannes. And so the story goes that David Sylvian went to provide a vocal for one of Holger Zuke's albums, and he visited the Cannes studio in Germany. And having arrived there and had a bit of a dinner, he went downstairs, and David Sylvian started playing on all the instruments, like going from one to another in the studio while they were waiting to record the vocal. And Holger heard what he was playing, and he started recording him without him knowing. And I think over the hours that went past, David realised he was being recorded. And Holger used to stop. As he said, as soon as he approached something that sounded like something that was structured or had a melody, he stopped, because he wanted to record him without his knowledge. He wanted for him to just express himself and not really think about anything like a song or anything sort of structured. And so they carried on like that during the night, and both adding sort of elements to it. And then apparently in the morning they realised they were onto something. So basically, these are two albums put together. So one's called Plight and Premonition, and the other one's called Flux and Mutability. And they're released in 86 and 87. This is a Groenland reissue that puts them both together, and it's just a great idea to put them all together. And again, they're basically just soundscapes, just really ethereal sounding soundscapes. There's orchestral samples, there's radio broadcasts that have weaved in and out of it, there's piano motifs, there's like slide guitars. And they all combine together to sort of create a floating ethereal soundscape. And each song is sort of like a 20-minute soundscape. They're all slightly different, obviously, but they just combine to make this sort of really beautiful, ethereal sort of listening experience. There's no sort of like melody you can latch onto, but it just drifts and it just washes over you. And it's a great headphone listen. You just, like I say, you put your headphones on, you put this on, and all I can imagine is just a beautiful summer day again with sort of like no clouds in the sky, the sun's beating down, you just listen to this beautiful ethereal music washing over you. And obviously after the first album was made, I think they enjoyed the process so much they did it again the following year. And members of Cannes actually do appear on this. You've got Michael Cowley plays guitar on it, and Jackie Leipzig does the percussion on it. Members of Cannes on here as well. So it's just beautiful albums, and it was a great idea for the label to put them together. Beautifully packaged. It looks like a 4AD album in a way, doesn't it? The artwork and design are great, and like I say, it's just a beautiful listening experience. So like you've got two albums there, so you've got 4 20-minute soundscapes, and it's just absolutely beautiful, chilled, ambient listening. Like it's a bit like Eno in terms of like I think Holger basically sort of changed the sound design. He sort of altered the pitch of the instruments and put samples in and added effects, and a bit like Brian Eno used to do. But it's absolutely beautiful album, beautiful drifting soundscapes, well worth checking out. So here's a little sample of it. Next up on my
SCORCHIO
playlist is a really big favourite of mine from 1983. It was originally only released in Japan until sort of word of mouth and collectors over the years built it up, and it was finally released in the UK and Europe on the Be With label. And this is Steve Hyatt's Down on the Road by the Beach, and as you can tell from the cover alone, it's already setting a picture in your head of what it's going to sound like. And this is absolutely superb, this album. It's basically, Steve Hyatt was a photographer and an artist, and in the 80s he was invited to go to Tokyo to set up an exhibition, and they asked him if he would put some of the exhibitions to music as like a bit of an installation. So he recorded a quick guitar doodle, and then to his surprise, the owner of the gallery invited him across, and he went over there just thinking he had to clear some shots for the exhibition, and they actually asked him to record an album like he'd done with the 7-inch. And I think he was blown away, and I think it was CBS Japan just desperate for him to make an album out of what he'd already provided. So quick as a flash, he bought a guitar apparently and just bedded down in the CBS studios in Japan with some Japanese backing group and guitarists, and made this album. And it's sort of like one of those Balearic classics. It's sort of like it just sets the scene completely. It's quite minimal again. It's got Steve Hyatt's guitar, and there's a lot of sort of effects on it. There's lots of reverb. There's lots of delay on it. And it sort of almost loops as he's playing. But it's a really simple sort of beautiful tone guitar, and it just sounds like the title of the album. It's just like, it sounds like a really hot summer day. You're going down to the beach. It's dreamy. It's ambient. There are a couple of tracks with vocals on. He does a cover of Roll Over Beethoven, which sounds bizarre, but it does really work. And his vocals are very much buried in the mix. So they're almost like another instrument. But it's one of those albums, it just gently washes over you in these sort of waves of sort of really cool guitar. A bit like the Durutti column sort of type, but a bit more sort of Balearic and a bit more ambient. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. It just sounds really sort of drowsy and really sort of like chilled, and there's no rough textures there. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's just so laid back and sun-kissed, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I think it was heavily inspired by the Beach Boys, so some of the songs sound quite dreamy and sort of surfy, but not type of surf instrumentals. They're not hectic. They're just really sort of chilled and laid back. And this is a really cool reissue, like I say, on Be With Records. Nice gatefold sleeve featuring some of Steve Hyatt's artwork. And there's even a booklet in it, which I think he originally produced for the photography exhibition that this music was made for. So that's pretty cool as well. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous album. It's just, again, it's one of those albums you put it on, your cares drift away, you feel like you're laid on a sun lounger in the sun, just completely chilling out. And it's absolutely beautiful album, a beautiful album of sort of guitar based soundscapes, and it's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Next up, we have another favourite artist of mine, Fortet. who was the moniker of Kieran Hebden. I'm sure you've all heard of Forte. It's been around for quite a long time now. Electronic music producer. He's barely put a foot wrong. I love all his albums. He's just fantastic producer. He's done lots of different types of music. He's done folktronica. He's done albums with other artists. He's collaborated a lot. He's, you know, all sorts of types of electronic music he's made over the years and different approaches to it. But it's all really sort of upbeat. It's all really sort of sun-kissed. And I think this album is the epitome of that. It's one of my all-time favourites. And this is Morning, Evening. And it looks like an EP, but it's 2 tracks, about 20 minutes per side. So it is album length. It was released in 2015. I think it's his 8th album. And basically it's 2 side-long pieces that gently build, again, sun-kissed, laid back. There are lots of beats in it, but they're all quite gentle and melodic and just unbelievable. And the great thing about this is it's based on his grandfather gave him some Hindu spiritual albums. They were sort of inherited by him when his granddad died, and there's sort of like Hindu spiritual albums, and there was a female vocalist that sort of sung over them. And he's taken elements of her vocals and weaved them into the tracks. So they do sound very sort of Indian-based, very sort of like ragas. They're very hypnotic, they're very circular, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So you've got this sun-kissed music with this beautiful Indian woman's vocals just looping and looping over the track. So it just sounds full of sunshine. And he split it into 2 because obviously he thought ragas, traditional ragas, which are like Indian sort of melodic phrases which you can improvise on. There's sort of there's certain types of days for them, so you can have an evening raga, a morning raga, blah blah blah. So that's the idea of the morning and evening. So the album's split into 2 sides, morning and evening. So the morning side is the one where it's full of these looped vocals, and it's just really shimmering, gorgeous, lovely build up of these sort of repeated loop vocals, and you know, with this sort of Indian backing and like club type beats, but they're quite gentle. It's really sort of like starts with that really intricate percussion and some synth stabs, and it sort of evolves and, you know, gets bigger and bigger from there. And the evening side is just as gorgeous. That's more sort of like has Indian elements in it, but it has more sort of percussive beats. As it goes along, it gets quite, not frantic, but there's a lot more percussion involved, because I think he's representing like when you're going out at night, and it's sort of like it's going from the early evening to the late evening. But both sides are so gorgeously chilled. And again, it's one of those albums that you just completely lose yourself in. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I think it's from 2015, so I think it is still available. But honestly, check it out. It's such a great album, and it's like I say, it's another one where you just put on your headphones and you just lose yourself in it. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think he's got an album coming out later on in the year, Kieran Hebden, with another one of my favourites, William Tyler, who's electric acoustic guitarist from Nashville, and he does great sort of soundscapes. So I'm really looking forward to that album with the 2 of them working together. But like I say, you can't really go wrong with Forte albums. I love a lot of them, but this I think is one of my absolute all-time faves, and it's just gorgeous for this sunny weather. Absolutely perfect. So I'll give you a taste of that now. So next up we have a recent favourite of mine. Again, an album that totally brings the atmosphere of sunshine and beaches and hot days and, you know, holidays and things like that. And this is by an artist called DJ Python. Yeah, I know, don't let the name put you off. DJ Python is a terrible name, but it's not like a DJ album at all. It's, yeah, DJ Python, what was he thinking of? It's the work of Brian Pinerio. And as you can see from the cover again, it just instantly brings to mind what you expect on this album, what you expect it to sound like. And basically, it's what's called in the back to genres, which, as you know from my previous video, tie me in knots and do me head in. This is reggaeton, apparently, and it's sort of like a dance-infused version of reggae. So it's sort of like ambient mixed with beats, mixed with like a reggae type of strut to it and quite heavy bass. So again, it sounds dance orientated, which it is in a way, but it's really chilled and really laid back. And again, it just instantly brings to mind hot climates. So you've got, you know, quite a lot of beats, but there's nothing heavy. It's quite gentle percussion, it's quite intricate, it's quite soft, it's hypnotic, it's languid, it sort of draws you in. It's really, really smooth all the way through, really minimalistic. There's lots of sort of gentle synth melodies in the background, and at times it does have elements, only slightly, but it does sound a bit like Boards of Canada at times. In terms of sort of like the really sort of gentle melodic melodies on synth and the sort of like the hypnotic slow beats. So there's nothing fast tempoed here. It's all quite slow and like sort of lethargic, but in a really cool hot day way. There's lots of cool tracks on here. There's one called which has got lots of sort of like lovely synth melodies running through it. Like I say, lots of cool beats. And there's a track, the longest track on here is called ADM SDP. And it's not political, but it's got like a voiceover from a woman on it. And it's sort of like one of those, it almost sounds like one of those self-help things where someone's talking to you over really cool and sort of chilled out beats, trying to get you to relax and, you know, chill out. And but this way it's quite strange because obviously a lot of the things are like, it's not really like self-help, it's more like don't be afraid to cry, don't be afraid to feel worthless because the world is worthless. So it's a bit strange in a way. It's sort of like, it's not really self-help, it's quite gloomy, but it works in the context. It's like a really cool, chilled out woman's vocal saying, don't worry if you have to cry, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. And it's like this, it's like a 10-minute track and it's like the centerpiece of the album, but it's really cool. Another great thing about it is it's sort of like the tempos do change, but it's all mixed together, so it's one long listening experience, even though it's split over two sides. But it never loses that warm, Balearic, really chilled out vibe to it. So like it's another great album that just brings to mind summer and you're just chilling out under a palm tree in your head, and it's just so cool. So that's DJ Python, and it's called Mass Amiable or Mass Amiable. But yeah, that's well worth checking out. Really cool album. That's from 2020. So the last of my choices for today, this is a bit of a cheat with it because it's not really a Soundscape album, although it does have its foot in the ambient type camp, and it does bring to mind sunny, hot days, and it's absolutely gorgeous album. And this is an album, which is a jazz album really, and it's by Chick Corea, and it's 1977's Return to Forever. Now, as most jazz fans will know, Return to Forever became a group in their own right, starring this lineup. But obviously, Chick Corea started this with this album, and then eventually, over the next couple of albums, they turned into the band Return to Forever, the jazz fusion outfit. As the cover suggests, this is an absolutely gorgeous ambient jazz record. The cover says it all. The bird just soaring along the top of the water. It's just absolutely gorgeous. You've got Chick Corea's beautiful electric piano playing, just really dreamy, just floating, gliding across all the soundscapes that the band create. You've got Stanley Clarke on bass, laying down some really funky but really gentle bass rhythms. You've got Airto Moriera on drums, lovely, great soft percussion sounds all the way through. And there's a couple of vocal tracks on here. Flora Purim does some beautiful vocals on here, and it's sort of like, it doesn't spoil the atmosphere. Her vocals and the melodies she makes, they just dance on top of the music, and it's really beautiful, sunshiny Latin type songs. So you've got What Game Shall We Play Today, which her vocals are just absolutely gorgeous on, and like I say, she just dances on top of her vocals just dance on top of the rhythm. It's just absolutely beautiful. And a song called Some Time Ago, which is another gorgeous song. You've got the title track Return to Forever, which has she's like wordless vocals on it. So it's sort of like, she just drifts, like an ethereal vocal that just drifts on top of the melodies, really soft and gentle. It just sounds so like really, really like spiritual almost, and really dreamy. It's got a really lovely drifting sound on it. Then you've got Crystal Silence, which is basically just Chick Corea's electric piano and a few muted sort of flutes and sax drifting on top of it. And again, the song What Game Shall We Play Today, which is a really gorgeous sort of Latin-y sounding sort of spiritual song. And then on side 2, you've got a 23-minute track. It's all one track called Some Time Ago, La Fiesta, which again has a song built into it, but again it's just based on the whole group coming together with that really sort of beautiful drifting ambient sort of like jazz, and it just you just melt listening to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It just like I say, it does sound really spiritual, and it's an absolutely cracking album. It's on the ECM label. But yeah, absolutely cracking album. Like I said, it's not particularly a soundscape album, although because it's instrumental and there are long instrumental gaps, and it is quite ethereal. It does sort of take you on the journey that the other albums do, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So so that's Chick Corea's Return to Forever. So I hope you'll check out some of these albums. Honestly, each one of them sort of brings to mind a really cool, relaxing vibes, really summery days, and takes you somewhere in your head, somewhere really nice and hot and cool. Not cool, but you know what I mean, cool. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you've enjoyed that. So I'm off now to have a bath in Worthington's, and stick a Magnum in each ear and try and cool down a bit. So until the next video, bye for now.
Nimbo cumulus.